Meanwhile, on the opening day of training camp for his 14th NBA season, LeBron James said that the retirements of future Hall of Famers Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, and Kevin Garnett caused him to ponder when he and his contemporaries' final games will be.
It feels like our era is next. That's what it feels like. Me, Wade, Melo, Bosh, we're next. We on deck. That's what it feels. Yeah, we on deck. We're the next group behind those guys. I mean, if you look at it seriously, we're the next group. So that's one of the first things that I thought about. Like, you know, once Dirk and Vince and Paul Pierce decide to go, we're next. So you just don't take it for granted. Every time we come out here, we talk to you guys, we step on the floor, we're going to play this game. We love it. You know, but we on deck.
Crazy to think of it that way. James signed a 3-year extension with the Cavs this summer. Max, how many more prime years do you think LeBron has?
Let me be very clear about this, Stephen A. We are still in the LeBron James era. He just proved it in the finals. And yet, LeBron James has already exited his prime. LeBron James has been in decline now for several seasons. It's a testament to his greatness that he's falling from such Olympic heights that even in his descent, he's still better than everyone else. But let's look at the facts. ESPN, Hoops Hype, various other places have chronicled his statistical decline. In his peak, which you could say was the 13-14 season in Miami, he's finishing 75% at the rim. Now it's 65% in the same area. Decline. The three-point shooting is down. His defense is not what it was. Now, can he turn all that stuff on when he needs it most? Yes, he can, because he's like a pitcher who comes into the league throwing 100 miles an hour all game, who gets to the age where he goes, okay, look, I can still bring the heat. I could throw 100, maybe 98. But I can't do it all game. I got to pick and choose my spots, which is why he's compensated for the athletic decline with increased mental awareness and greater understanding even than he used to have of the game. He's balanced the two, so he appears to the naked eye to still be in his prime, but he's not. He understands that he needs to bring his players along with him. I got to get Kevin Love involved. Okay, that's not working. We need to look for mismatches, then get Kyrie going. He'll do whatever it takes, so he's compensated. Like Muhammad Ali in the second part of his career, where it wasn't the Ali who beat Sonny Liston and Ernie Terrell and Cleveland Williams anymore. That was peak Ali. But he had his greatest victories in the second half of his career, post-exile, against Joe Frazier and George Foreman, precisely because he wasn't at his physical best anymore. He had to compensate in other areas to keep his game at the height. And because he wasn't the greatest anymore, he was able to achieve his greatest victories. And LeBron is in that phase in his career. Evidence. Who was the regular season MVP 3 years ago? KD, and he deserved it. LeBron in his prime, no one deserved. When he was in his prime, no one deserved MVP, regular season or otherwise, over him. Is it because he's taking his foot off the gas in the regular season? Of course. He's saving it for the playoffs. But years ago, especially those 2 years in Miami where they went back-to-back, LeBron didn't have to take his foot off the pedal in the regular season. Floored it the whole way, beginning to end. Now he has to adjust what he does because he's not at his best. Who won the MVP the following 2 years? Steph Curry, regular season, deserved it both years. When Michael Jordan was in his prime, did anyone ever deserve the MVP over him? No. When LeBron James was in his prime, did anyone ever deserve even the regular season MVP over him? No. But he has exited his absolute peak, and so now KD deserves it, Steph Curry deserves it, still the LeBron James era, can turn it on where he needs to people who are casual observers. Oh, he's still at his best because he's still better than everyone else. But the underlying statistics point to a physical decline in LeBron James, who is so great and has such a broad base of skills that he can be an excellent player pretty much for as long as he wants to be. But is he still at his very best? No, he's not.
Oh, my goodness. Max Kellerman, you know, there are NBA folks who don't like you today. They don't like you at all. Because the argument against analytics, they view you as somebody who took a class on it, graduated from it. You understand? Talked to the researcher, collaborated, got your numbers and all that.
Collaborate on this, brother.
I know you did it. I know you did it, but I'm just saying that's how they view you right now. because you sound just like one of them. You see what I'm saying? Now,
I take that as a compliment.
Let me explain. Unlike a lot of old school NFL dudes, I believe there's a purpose that's served with analytics. I remember that Pat Riley was using, I remember my man Jim Jackson, who played on various teams in the NBA, started Ohio State. That's my brother right there. That's my man. Love him to death.
24 points a game one year, maybe better than that.
That's right. He talked about how Pat Riley was doing analytics before any of us knew what it existed. So it's not new to a lot of these NBA folks, okay? It's just the reliance. It's just the reliance on it that offends the old school guys. And even though I agree that it shouldn't be relied upon, I think it's something that should be respected. You're the first person that actually has me discussed it with analytics and that approach. Because you're looking at numbers and you're not contextualizing it. You're not putting it in its proper context and seeing what's going on with LeBron James. LeBron James literally has at least 3 elite years, if not 4, left in him. Not to mention the fact I see no decline. And allow me to explain. You're not taking into account what he's had to deal with. More importantly, you're not taking into account the approach and the mentality that LeBron James has adopted years ago. He has been 6 straight NBA finals. This guy has been to 7 finals overall. When you consider the amount of playoff activity he's had, it's basically added 2 seasons to his career. His mentality.
Glad you agree with me.
Time out. His mentality is, I know that I'm not judged by what happens in December and January and February and March. Yeah, I'm going to still average a minimum of 25 a game. You understand? Since my 2nd year in the league, by the way, his averages have never dipped below 25, 7, and 7. Ever. Okay? So when they're talking about a dip, well, he averaged 27 one year, and then Molly, he went to 26.9. And then after that, he went to 25.8 or something like that. Are you kidding me? This is not what happened. What's going on with LeBron is this. LeBron has graduated. He has said, I know how I'm going to be judged. I don't have to worry about the regular season. Let me make sure we're one of the top 2 seeds in my conference. Outside of that, do whatever I need to do to bring this team along and to make sure that I do what's necessary. His averages in this past NBA Finals was better in terms of percentages from the field, percentages from three-point range. It was better than it was in last year's NBA Finals. Why? Because this time he had Kyrie. Last year he didn't. He had to carry the load all by himself offensively. So he's sitting there and nitpicking and picking his spots because he's saying, I don't need to do all of this. This is what I need to do. This is when I need to do it. That's not losing something. That's elevating in maturity and intelligence and recognizing, why am I going to expend unnecessary energy?
Compensate,
that's the point.
To compensate.
Not to compensate.
Look, is he still the best? He just proved it. Absolutely. To compensate for a physical decline. Can he still throw 100 miles an hour? Absolutely, yes.
Where is the physical
Okay, let's go to the eyeball test, because if I bring up stats, you're going to accuse me of doing stats. Then you'll use stats, but you'll use the wrong ones.
You should win the eyeball test.
Okay.
You should win the eyeball test. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. All right.
All right. Let's look. Does he close out on three-point shooters the way he used to consistently?
Not consistently. No. Doesn't have to.
No. Does he shoot as well as he used to consistently?
Excuse me. He fluctuates. There are years he shot worse.
Yeah, but
There's years he shot worse.
He was ascending, and now he's descending in terms of his three-point shooting.
No.
From a peak of over 40% from 3. Something like that.
Go ahead.
In the 13, 14, 12, 13 campaigns, right in that area.
Go ahead.
But I'm going to stay away from stats. I'm just going to the eyeball test. Does he know how he's going to be judged, and therefore shows maturity that the Warriors didn't last year when they're playing Steph Curry in overtimes against meaningless teams toward the end of the season when they basically had the whole thing wrapped up in the West already? Yes, he's more mature than all those guys. He knows, let me take my foot off the gas. I need to pace myself to keep that 100-mile-an-hour heater for when it matters the most. But there was a time, Stephen A., a couple of years ago where he didn't have to do that. He could put the pedal to the metal and dominate both ends of the floor, those back-to-back chips in Miami, both ends of the floor from wire to wire. That was the best LeBron James of all time. And this LeBron James is a wiser, more mature, also all-time great who's not quite physically what he once was then. That's why he's pacing himself.
Before we go, Let me throw something by y'all here because I have the stats right in front of me, and I know you were going to eyeball test that particular moment in time. Don't blame me for that. Here's the deal. LeBron James, he shot 40% from three-point range in the 2012-2013 season.
Okay.
Prior to that, he was religiously in the 30s, 36, 33, 33, 34, 31, 31, etc. From that season...
reverse chronology?
No, what I'm saying is before that and
what was
after...
the season right before 40?
36.
And what was the season before that?
33.
Oh, okay. So he was getting better and better and better at three-point shooting.
What I'm saying to you is this. Hovering 31, 34. Then he went down to 33. Then he came up to 36.
Because he started studying the analytics and he figured out where to take the three from and made him a better shooter.
No. What I'm trying to say to you is this. What he's doing from three-point range, even though last year was historically bad for him at 30.9, the point is that's where he usually is.
No, that's where he used to be before he improved.
No. He didn't improve that much.
Look at the trajectory. You proved my point. He got better, hit prime levels, and then declined.
He went from 36 to 40 back down to 37, 35, 30.
Right. You proved my point. He went up, peak, down.
I'm saying to you that where he's at right now is what you know him to be.
Back in the day, before his peak.
Before you know him to be. At the end, he's physical. He's stronger, more powerful than Kobe, MJ, and I look at no decline whatsoever. He's just smarter because he knows Father Time is undefeated.
You just described the decline. You described the ascent and then the decline.
I disagree.
This is one of those debates that could go all day. We got to go to break.
Okay.